What's up, guys? I wanted to share a few gems that I learned from a few podcasts, um, and so I'm going to term this video "Nickels and Dimes." Um, so, first, first line of thought is thinking like the wealthy. I learned this concept from John Spencer Ellis in his podcast "Think Like the Wealthy," and he had a lot of information on there that made me think differently about money and how. Um, of course, to increase my wealth and how to think about that. So, if you guys haven't heard it yet, John Spencer Ellis podcast, How to Think Like the Wealthy, it's a good podcast to listen to give you a different perspective on what you're doing with your money. Um, the second thing, or what I've done for me, I know that a lot of us are struggling out there, and a lot of these books out there. For the most part, come from a perspective of having some money, and how you can make your situation better or become more wealthy from a perspective of having money. And I'm often thinking about this idea of, what if you're coming from no money? What if you are struggling on a day-to-day basis? Your Maslow hierarchy, where you're barely able to put food on the table and all those things. And yeah, a lot of those people who have made it have spoke about those, but what about the techniques that you can use when you are struggling? What did they do to get out there? Did somebody give them money? The money that they had right then and there that they know has to go to bills the next week. What did they do with that money? So I'm often thinking about that, and that's where I'm at right now. At the same time, I'm expanding my mind. I'm listening to podcasts that talks about wealth and all those things. So while I'm listening to these podcasts by John Spencer Ellis, Tony Robbins, and a few other people, of course, I can't help but think that I'm struggling. I'm working two jobs. I'm at my overnight now, but I had this idea, nickels to dimes, and I figure I share it with you guys, because I think the problem is that we don't have enough information on money, on how to manage money, and the people who do are obviously wealthy, or doing good for themselves. So, nickels and dimes. I came up with this concept because, as we all know, that broke is a mindset. I had that mindset for a whole year. Last year, that was my mindset. I'm too broke to do this. I'm too broke to save. I'm too broke to do that. And a conversation that I had with a patient at my other job, she said, "You're not too broke to save money." And after at least 2 or 3 conversations of me telling her that, she would relent. She kept saying, "You could save at least $5." So, needless to say, at my other job, when they order office supplies, they get it from Quill, and then Quill always gives us some cookies. The cookies are good, by the way. They never last a day. And there's these tin cans there, so I started collecting the tin cans, for miscellaneous storage and stuff like that. But I had one extra one, so of course, briefly, this thought of $5 in a savings can, is not that much. I spend that in a breakfast or a latte. So of course, I cut a slit in this can. I put some tape over it so that it's not accessible for me to open, and I started with $5. I do $5 every paycheck, so I get paid 4 times a month, by both jobs. Well, 2 times per job, 4 times total from both jobs. So just $5, something that's nominal, that does not impact my pockets enough that I may have to renege and take that money back out. So thus the term nickels and dimes. I say nickels and dimes because maybe $5 is maybe a bit more. You want to take a more aggressive approach, and $5 isn't enough for you. Maybe $10 is enough for you. And so $10 is a bit more aggressive. But of course, you always have to see what's within your budget and within your means. You can't save money if you know you're going to be in a deficit. If you need that money for something, do less than that. Something that you know that you can put away. You won't be hurting when you put that money away. If it's $1 it is. And then if you take money out, that treat it like a real bank. If you know you're going to take money out of that can, and you need that money for gas or for whatever, make sure that you put interest on that money that you take out. So if you take that money out, you double it when you're doing better, or triple it. However you feel the need to do that as a punishment. Treat it like a real bank. Um, and so nickels and dimes is this concept that I've came up with. But five tends to be the number that I'm pretty comfortable with if I have to take an L. So why do I say this? Because I just stumbled onto this account, this stocks investment account called Stash, and they also say you can invest $5 into any stock that you want. So I've been doing that. So not only have I been putting $5 in a can, now I put $5 into a stash account into a few stocks. Right now I have a portion of a few stocks, or minuscule right now. I'm not looking to be a millionaire overnight, but over long-term investment, hopefully that it will grow to be something else. But and I'll tell you why I'm doing it that way. So of course I've invested into Nike, Under Armour. I did Wells Fargo. I got rid of them. Tesla, Amazon. Can't remember the other ones, but I've invested $5 in each of those companies. Actually, in Under Armour, I've invested $10. Right now, Under Armour is $19, so I have half a stock in Under Armour. I plan on in the near future getting a full stock, maybe a few full stocks. But I own a portion of a stock in all the other aspects, and so again, still struggling. I'm working. I work 5 days at my main job. I work 4 days at this job. So I'm not by any means wealthy or where I want to be. But like I said before, listening to John Spencer Ellis's podcast, one thing that he said that stood out to me was that wealthy people think about the money that they make now and how they can invest it into a longer term. So something to take into consideration. If I'm busting my chops, I'm doing 40 hours at the other job, 30 hours here, and I'm getting all this extra money, whatever the case is, I can put $5 away if that's the minimum. It's not the minimum that I'm doing now, but at the minimum, if I can only do $5, I could put $5 in a can each check. Can I put a little bit more in? Right now, I choose not to, because that $5 that I'm doing, I'm putting it in the stash. Maybe I could put it more into the can, but I'm not right now at the moment. I'm comfortable with that, and I've been pretty consistent with that. And the biggest thing with saving is being consistent, not looking at the money at the saving account and taking it out because you need it or whatever, what have you, or because you just feel the need to take it out. Another point that John Spencer Ellis said, that the person who could delay what they want the longest usually is happier. So they did study with some kids and cookies or something like that, and so now I have this money in my possession. I've done it for the past, I think, 3 to 4 months, and I'm sitting on a nice goose egg, and but that's not going to be the reason why I take it out. If it's an emergency, that's what I call my rainy day fund. I call it my rainy day fund because it's not going to accrue any interest. The only interest it's going to get is when I put money into it. So that money is not working. I'm putting that money away and it's not accruing any interest. So it's not working for me yet. So that's going to be my rainy day money. That's going to be the money that I need when I'm in a pinch. But the $5 that I invested into stash, or the $20, $30 that I've invested into stash, now that money is working for me, right? And the more that I invest, of course, my ROI, my return on investment is bigger. A lot of people don't believe in stocks. I'm one of those people who come from a position of not believing in stocks. But again, I'm putting in a nominal amount of money in there that I'm comfortable if I lose it. So it goes twofold. I'm putting enough money in there. It's not gonna make me a big return, but I'm okay with losing $5 because I spend $5 doing other things. But I'm also okay that if that $5 increases to $6, right? And I didn't have to do anything but put that somewhere. So it accrued its interest. So now my money's working for me. Um, and so these are things that I think that the poor, the impoverished, and the people who are struggling don't think about. I say this because I'm one of those people who wasn't thinking about that until I stumbled onto this podcast. I was trying to put fires out left and right. My car broke down. My electricity went off. I still need to pay rent. I still need to buy food to survive. I have a cat, so I have to buy cat food. I just all these other miscellaneous expenses. I take the metro. I take transit. So now I need to put money away from that. I need gas money. I need to get a haircut. All these other things that are important, and that blinded me to the fact that I wasn't all I was doing. I was just on a conveyor belt. That's all I was doing. I was just on a conveyor belt, just going through the motions and trying to put out these different fires. And in reality, I was going to stay in the same position. And so by listening to these podcasts, what they've done, they've given me a aspect to be able to look outside of what my daily grind is. My daily grind. So I think that grinding is good, but grinding for naught is not good, because how do you you're going to get to a point where you're not going to be able to do this forever. I'm not going to be able to do 4 overnight shifts and work a day shift forever. I'm not going to be able to do that. So while I have the strength, I will do it. But now I have to be smarter with my investments and what I'm going to do with my money from this point on, because I'm getting to a point in my life where I'm not going to be able to do those things. So now I have to be smarter with my money, and I have to be smarter with my time. So $5, $10, $20 a month into a can, into my rainy day fund, and then $20 into some investments that are going to accrue over time. I've seen the investments. If I do this on a monthly basis, at the age of 70, I might have $61,000 in the account, and that's if everything goes well. But the reality is I'm also working on a business, and I plan on increasing my income. So right now, $5, my nickels and dimes are okay right now for my current circumstance. As I increase my wealth and increase my income, that 5 to 10 may jump to 20, may jump to 25, maybe 100. Who knows? But right now, for me, a person who's struggling, who was living day to day, living from check to check, I'm putting $5 away. And I think that a lot of us who are impoverished or in impoverished circumstances don't think enough about that. And if you have money to buy sneakers and stuff like that, you have money to put away, which that will be on my next video about